Roz, I just have to wonder, what exactly are they disagreeing on that they can't get this thing done? Markets wanted this and they wanted it yesterday.
They wanted it yesterday or last week. You know, it's really a philosophical disagreement between Republicans and Democrats, with Democrats saying that the massive stimulus package put forth by Republicans was focused solely on the corporate sector, on economic bailouts for big companies, whereas Democrats want more focus on how to help actual people, unemployment payments and debt forgiveness and certain other things, which they say was in the package as written on Saturday night and then was taken out. So that's where the rift, and it seems to be quite a big rift, seems to have happened, because we heard nothing but really upbeat comments this morning from the Treasury Secretary, even from McConnell himself, and from Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader in the Senate yesterday. So that seems to be where the fault line is. President Trump now says he'll work with Nancy Pelosi on her stimulus bill, and we don't quite know what the next steps are. But you know, I can imagine that many lawmakers will hear some pretty angry calls from their constituents overnight. People are so worried in the country now about their finances and about their jobs, and want to see a bit of bipartisanship out of Congress. So this is just going to exacerbate that, I think.
Yeah, it seems like a really extraordinary and terrible time for partisanship, particularly as we had seen kind of, you know, the sentiment would be otherwise. But what do we know about the timing as to when we could see another bill? It seems pretty open-ended, but as we know, when it comes to addressing the issue for small businesses, for individuals, time is of the essence. Are we likely to see, you know, cash handouts? Are we likely to see targeted measures directed at supporting small and medium-sized businesses?
Something tells me that by the time this is all said and done, many of those aspects which were in the Senate bill will show up in the House bill, and that the two sides will come together with a lot of pressure from the White House, a lot of pressure from both Trump himself and Steven Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, because of the urgency. So really all of those elements are, I believe, in the Senate plan to some extent. It's just a question of how you're slicing and dicing. I mean, even this morning, Mnuchin was saying that for the average family of four, there could be a payment of some $3,000 in the initial go-around. And he said that if the virus impact goes beyond another 10 weeks or so, that the White House could come back to Congress to ask for more. So ultimately, it seems like this will get done, but this sort of brinkmanship that we saw tonight is perhaps a little bit surprising, given the sort of near panic in parts of the country.